Aloha and welcome to Wisdom Dialogues with Hope Johnson. Hooray! I'm coming to you from Hawaiian beaches on the big island of Hawaii, specifically in the Love Room. Yeah. So, today, look what I have.
Oh my God, look at it. So that's you and Braun on the front?
Yeah, it says not for resale across the top. See that?
Okay. Yeah.
Let me get a better view of
That's
mine so I can see what's going on. Okay. Yeah, see, it's because it's a sample for me, right?
Okay. Yeah.
And then I checked it out, like I looked on the inside and said, look at the back.
Awesome.
I know. And then check out like the inside. It's laid out very nice, and it has plenty of pictures. I ended up putting pictures in there because I thought that would be fun. Like there's a family picture right there.
Oh, yeah. Oh, and look at Braun.
That's Blaze.
That's Blaze?
That's pre-Braun.
That's pre-Braun. No kidding. I never saw Blaze that little.
Uh-huh. That's fun, huh?
That's awesome. That makes it more personal.
Yeah. And then Akea did a conclusion at the end. It's really good.
She did.
Yes. Yeah.
Do you want to read it?
Oh, you want me to read it?
Love it.
Ooh. Let's see. Okay, this will be fun. Let's
Yeah.
read it.
I think so too.
Conclusion by Akea Johnson. Hope's daughter. Growing up with my mom was and continues to be an exciting adventure. When I was young, my mom was the most intelligent and beautiful person I knew, and nobody could convince me otherwise. Her words meant everything to me and could make me feel safe and comforted or judged. As I felt as though my mom knew everything, and if I did not receive her approval, I thought that I must not be worthy of any. I spent much of my young and early teenage life desperate for my mom's undeniable approval. And by the time I was around 14, I began to want to be away if I wasn't going to get it. Also, punishment was a huge tool in our household for making kids do what they're, quote, supposed to do. I was expected to make good grades and to be respectful. Be respectful meant do anything I was asked and not show any sliver of an attitude about it. However, I never really wanted to do what I was asked, so I had a lot of attitude about it. Any time that I expressed an attitude, my parents would make a really big deal out of it, and I would slowly have all of my freedom and things that I love to do taken away. At 14, my parents threatened military school, and I was very excited about the idea, as I knew I would thrive away from such a controlling environment. You love it? Being away from parents that wanted me to be a certain way boosted my self-esteem, and I did very well at military school.
She actually did go.
Yeah, she went. Yeah, that's fun, huh? The next year, my parents wanted me to come back home, and I negotiated with them that I would as long as I could have my freedom. They agreed, and I went back home that year. I was no longer being punished. However, the judgment of my actions were still there, and I took this very personally. So at 17, I moved away to start a life without the need for approval. Being away, I felt as though I was growing up and becoming more mature, until I would talk to my mom and feel like that small child that still did not have my mother's approval. Regardless of these feelings, I wanted to be around her, and so I moved to Hawaii to be close to her again. At that point, my mom had been embarking on a spiritual journey and was becoming more and more accepting and loving, and did not give out any punishments to my brothers. However, she would have outbursts of emotion, and when they were directed towards me, I felt completely helpless and worthless, and I would fight back and defend myself. At 19, I was working with my mom on the then very small essential oil business. We worked well together until we would have arguments. One day, my mom and I were in a heated, condescending, and passive aggressive fight with each other, and she told me she couldn't deal with my, quote, mommy issues anymore. So I left work and threw away all of my business cards, and a week later moved back to California. The weight of my mom's disapproval was one of the heaviest feelings I had ever felt, and I had no idea how to allow it to release other than getting away from her. I stayed in California for about a year until my mom wanted me to come back to Hawaii and help her with the growing business. I agreed to come back as I felt a shift in our relationship and felt that she really wanted me to be around. This time being back, I had started freediving and I felt a great sense of self-worth about it. So it wasn't as easy for my mom's judgments to make me feel bad about myself. However, outbursts of emotion would still occur, but mostly directed at my dad and little brothers, as I would just go diving and not engage so much in the emotion. Then, everything turned around the day my mom left for a 10-day silent meditation retreat. For those of you just joining, I'm reading the conclusion by my daughter, Akea Johnson, in the book, Unschooling for Parents. I didn't think much of it at the time, as she had been doing plenty of spiritual and meditative practices over the past few years. However, when she came back, she seemed very happy and loving and joyful, as she had many times before. But usually it would be interrupted by a bout of frustration, anger, and sadness. So I thought, let's see how long this one lasts.
Oh.
And it did. It lasted for years. I never thought it was possible, as my experience was that patterns just lasted forever. But this one was broken, and my mom and I have had the best relationship I could have imagined for us. I was free of her judgment, and in turn, I began to see that I could be free of my own as well. We now still work and live together in Hawaii and have wonderful communications with one another, as she genuinely appreciates me as a daughter and business partner. I know that my actions did not change in order for her to feel that way. However, her change in feelings toward me has allowed me to grow and mature without the blockage of feeling unworthy. Akea Johnson.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Isn't that so sweet?
You gotta hold the book up again for the people who just got
Oh, with the peeps.
Yeah.
There it is. This is a not for resale copy. It's the only one I have so far. I just sent it for publishing, and it's actually available now on Kindle. You can get it on Kindle. Oh. Yeah. And then in a few days, it'll be available like this. They'll just print it right off of Amazon. Yeah.
It's so exciting.
That's so fun, huh? So that's pretty interesting. My daughter's conclusion, Akea's conclusion, huh? The story of it.
It's beautiful.
Isn't that amazing?
The transformation between you two. It made me think of Hannah this weekend. I was telling Phoebe earlier. Hannah, my granddaughter, who is 10.
Yeah.
This weekend. I mean, we've had, basically ever since she's been born, I've been on this path. And so there was a time, I don't know, a year ago or so, she's like, Dolly, I don't want to hear anything about non-duality. Nothing. Don't talk to me about it. I don't want to hear anything. Because whenever I'm Skyping with somebody or whatever, she's here, whatever. Well, this weekend, she told me that I am the sweetest, most innocent person she knows. This is from a 10-year-old telling me I'm innocent.
Oh my goodness, how sweet.
I'm right.
Yeah. That's a beautiful reflection.
That's what everybody has said. What a beautiful reflection, because that's not how it was taken at first. At first, I was like, of course, there was ego in there for sure, because it was like, she's 10. She's telling me I'm innocent. But it is beautiful. My God. I never thought of myself as that before. Innocent. I,
Really?
yeah. I mean, well, my mom has always called me naive,
Okay, that's different though from innocent.
especially when your mother's telling you that.
That's very different. Yeah, innocence is what everyone is, and I see that, why the reason why I'm surprised that you don't see yourself as innocent, because it seems to me that you find it quite easy to see the innocence in others, which is really yourself.
That's
So, it's always when you recognize that that's really, your mind speaking, whatever is speaking, good, bad, indifferent, it doesn't need to be taken personal in any way. And it's always reflecting the thoughts that, the little girl's expressing what she perceives as your expression toward her. you know it's like, there's a lack of suspiciousness. See, it's like a kid can sense that. The sense that, oh my goodness, what is it going to do?
What is it going to do? What do you mean?
Yeah, well, there's a sense that kids are naughty, that they're going to do something bad or wrong or something to upset or frustrate you. See? And what I'm saying is, the way I see you is, you probably don't give off that kind of vibe, like the kid is, like you're afraid of what the kid might do.
Yeah, no. She's awesome. She is, my God. We had such deep conversations this weekend. I felt a shift in our relationship this weekend, because before it seemed more like I was teaching her, needing to teach her, but that seems to have dropped, and it's more a discussion. Like, she's equal. There's no talking down, you know?
Sure.
And the wisdom that comes out of this kid. Ah, she's so precious.
Kids are amazing like that. A lot of the times that's overlooked, because so much attention is going to what they look like in the perception, as far as how they're behaving, whether they're doing things right, having the right manners, using the right words. We have been as a culture, of course, everyone's got different levels of it, but we've been conditioned toward finding wrong, like looking for things that are wrong. And one way of doing that, that's kind of like an underhanded way, is also, praising things, because in praising certain things and certain activities, the kid feels a pressure to continue that kind of thing too. It's kind of the same as saying you shouldn't be doing that. Okay. Oh yeah. Oh, you made good grades. Oh, good job. Or yes, you should be making good grades. And that's the thing. It's like, for anything like that, it's like, yeah, if that's what makes you happy, if that's what's exciting and joyful for you, I'm so happy for you. I'm right behind you. But it's not because I want to see this particular behavior continue. You know what I mean? It's kind of like a way of relating it as if you owe me something. You should be a certain way for me. Or even, it could look like you should be a certain way for yourself because I know how you should be.
Right. I know better.
Sense all that.
Mm.
And the way it reflects is, when you're free of all those kinds of projections that are just kind of automatically launching, and you're free of all those kinds of projections. You look innocent even to a child.
Even to a 10-year-old.
Yeah, no. It's that projection. People can feel you, and it makes you feel rigid and mean and kind of fearful. And especially to kids, they would be less likely to share something with you. They would be less likely to approach you and say, hey, what do you think about this? Or I'm scared about this.
So that being as a child, having to uphold a certain way to be for our parents, that's why we always think we're doing something wrong and we're trying to conform into this. You lose who you are because you're trying to fit into the mold as how everybody wants you to be.
Yes, exactly. That's how everyone gets trained. And that's how people get trained to treat kids. I don't know if I told you the story before. I was sitting in a cafe with some friends, and one of the friends had a kid at the table, and the kid ordered some food, didn't finish all the food. The portions are huge. Portions are just huge. The kid didn't finish all the food and said, oh, I'd like to try some of this. And then someone at the table, completely unrelated, said, well, you have to finish your food first. Just like, it's just conditioning coming forth, It's just conditioning coming forth. Yeah. And I just laughed, and I'm like, why?
Because it was paid for. You don't waste food. All of that conditioning.
All these different programs, but you wouldn't say that to an adult. You wouldn't tell an adult, oh no, you can't try that until you finish your food first. Like what? It's funny, like when you start to look at the conditioning that just kind of like automatically comes out in different situations, and one of them is with kids.
Yeah, like kids aren't people too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then as far as teaching your kids, you're always teaching your kids whatever you're learning for yourself only. See.
Ooh, that's a big one.
So if you're teaching your kids they have to conform to some kind of way, that's what you're saying to yourself. It's saying it's not safe to be free. It's not safe to be free. And what I notice is this, just in going into that feeling, it's not safe to be free. It reveals that it is safe to be free.
Totally.
It's not hard to see that. It's like when you're feeling into the vibration of I'm not safe, and you realize it's about yourself. That's the tricky thing when it seems like it's about someone else, especially when it's about a kid. It's like, whoa, this seems really serious. Something's really wrong. This kid's like not doing it right somehow. Maybe they're not eating the right food, or I don't know. Maybe they're going through some kind of a sickness that you think that they need to do something different for, or something like that. It's there's all kinds of different scenarios of the need to control. And when it just comes down to feeling into the body sense, just getting the sense of that need to control and letting it pass away like that, just in your body's energy field, you realize there's nothing really there to control. And each of us are being played out by the mind. I shared something interesting yesterday on Wisdom Dialogues in Person. It's a really fun way of looking at it. If you take the DNA into consideration, the whole life is written. Like it's written. It's a fate that's written. It's encoded. And that's how it's going to play out unless it's questioned. And then it's changing. See, it's totally changeful. It's totally changeful. These patterns, these energy plays, they're already set up in the mind to play out these energy patterns. And, even if there's like no choice being made in the whole lifetime, there's no conscious choice being made. You can say conscious choice, even though it's all in consciousness. You know, there's no choice being made for specifically for the truth, even when faced with illusion. There's no choice being made like that. Still, learning is occurring. Learning is occurring. And everyone is being led back to what's true as a matter of course through the perception. It's just, it makes it go way faster. It makes it go way faster when you go, oh, I see what's going on. And just watch and notice what's going on, noticing the energy plays, noticing that they are, in fact, energy plays and not anything more than that. It's like waves of information coming. So if you see anything that looks upsetting, you are seeing an error because it's an interpretation of an energy wave that's made through the lens of separation. So if you perceive anything that brings on a feeling of upset, it's an opportunity right now.
Mm. My girlfriend's nephew just got some kind of infection that went to his brain.
Okay.
At Mass General, and it's not looking. He's only like 22, I think.
And
he's not going to make it. So I really don't believe he will, but the whole family is all, you know, I have a hard time with those things. Like you said before, there's nothing for me to say. And
okay, you have a hard time with those things. Tell me about this hard time. What is it? What is it? Tell me about the hard time you're having.
Well, there's a wanting to say something, and there's no need to really say anything. I don't know, when she's texting me saying it's so sad it looks like he's not going to make it, she's texting me and I want to say something back and I'm like, yeah.
Okay, so look, you'd never have a choice in what you're going to say.
Right.
That's like a convincing illusion that you have a choice in what you're going to say. So you don't have to try to come to any conclusion about what you're going to say. It's just a matter of showing up. You know what I mean by showing up? It's like when you receive the text, you have this, you're aware of receiving a text, let's say. You're aware of receiving a text, and the text is saying, it's so sad, my son is dying, What is the response to that in your body's energy field? What is the response to that? I can sense a response to it in my body's energy field just from hearing about it.
The sadness, the compassion.
Yes. So it's letting that sensation into the body's energy field. It's an opening rather than a closing off. You'll start to sense that in the body's field. Like there will be either it's like your heart and energy. It's almost like this core is open, or it's got a contraction, like it's closing off. It's a resistance kind of feeling. So this is all in the mind where the work and the healing is done. And in the perception, whatever you speak, whatever you happen to say, that'll be an expression of how you feel about it. See? That'll be an expression of it. So you just allow the feeling to be there. And if it's there without resistance, you're not going to express resistance. See? Just be there to feel everything. Receive it, whether it's by text or it happens to be in person or anything like that. You don't have to think of anything to say, it'll just come forth. You'll feel excited and inspired about whatever it is that comes forth. It'll just be like a natural expression.
Yeah, when you said this to me a few weeks ago when a guy, his sister died, a friend of mine's sister died, because the text came through while you and I were talking.
Oh, right.
And there was, automatic, there's a thought that, the person didn't die. The body died, but not who they really were. And I can't say that. You can't.
You don't have
And
to
you
worry
said
about what
just,
you might say, though.
huh? What?
You don't have to worry or have any concern over what you might say. See,
Yeah.
even that
Yeah.
thought that's going to that is talking about as if you have a choice in what you might say.
Right.
It's as if.
And or saying it wrong.
Yeah, saying it wrong. Even if you get the idea after the fact that what you said it wrong.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Which this comes in and yeah.
And taking responsibility, it's like I talk about, taking responsibility for your own life, this idea that you can take responsibility for your own life. That's that's totally just missing what's happening, what's transpiring here. It's not like that. The life is unfolding. The life is unfolding according to how you think.
Right.
It's all unfolding according to how you think. So if you think yourself to be, say you think yourself to be a victim of something, anything, controlled in any way. Look, at a lot of people don't notice they're feeling like they're a victim of things.
No, they don't.
But if you say, I have to do something, and you feel that you have to do something as if it's not your choice, that's it. That's a reflection of it right there. Or how could they do that to me? Or feeling any kind of taken advantage of at any time. That's the victim mentality.
Ooh, this gets me. Ooh, okay. So my granddaughter is developing. She's 10 years old, and I just noticed. I mean, she has boobs already, but she also, I just realized this weekend that she has pubic hair too at 10. So I was talking with my girlfriends, and she was in the room,
Yeah.
and I said that to them, and Hannah got mortified. She was like, oh, Lolly, that's my business. It is not your business to talk about my body. I went, oh my goodness. And I said, you're right. I'm very sorry. Lolly will not do it again. I didn't even think that she was going to. Wow.
Things are different now from when we were kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, you see that? I think it's great. I think it's great that kids could speak up like that, because I know that when I was a little kid, like 10 years old, I wasn't allowed to say, I mean, I didn't feel like I was allowed to say something like that.
No, not at all. I mean, she just freaking was like, you overstepped. And I said, I'm sorry. I could hear if my mother had done that to me, she used to do that to me all the time. And if I wouldn't dare say anything either.
You don't say so. Yeah, that's just, there was the whole atmosphere, the mental atmosphere at that time was, you do not talk back like that. Anyone can say anything they want about your boobs or your butt or anything.
Children are seen but not heard.
Yeah, yeah. So I think it's great that that's coming about, and I think it's awesome. It feels like it's a really good timing for coming out with my book too, Unschooling for Parents.
Yeah.
It seems like more parents are going to be ready for something like that. The kind of freedom that's allowed for everyone.
Everyone. Right.
Everyone. Yeah, because a lot of the times what people don't realize is, like, when you put restrictions on your kid, you are on restriction.
Exactly.
That's no fun.
It's the same thing with holding anger or resentment for somebody else.
Yes.
What the heck? You're hurting yourself. That hurts.
Yeah, it hurts. And, it's like we stopped, at first it was like, spanking kids was a thing. I didn't realize that it was possible to raise a kid without spanking them at first.
Yeah.
I realized that
Actually,
was you could do that.
yeah.
Because the way it was shown to me and the way it seemed, the fear-based conditioning was that would be the only way to raise a kid. Otherwise, they're gonna like rise up against you or something.
Right, right.
They're just gonna get completely out of hand. You got to make sure you're the alpha in the thing.
Yeah.
So then, there was the thing with the spanking, and then it's like, okay, no more spanking. Okay, then what are we going to do for punishment? Because we need some kind of punishment, right? So then we start taking stuff away. And boy, that really feels way better than spanking, as you can tell, it's like a step towards something awesome. But still, it's holding this thing out like punishment is necessary. And like, you're wrong. You've done it wrong,
Right.
So you need to be punished for it.
Yeah. Like they're only being just like we are.
It's just a reflection of I need punishments. It's like saying I need punishment. People don't realize that, like parents and other caretakers, and even people who aren't caretakers, they find themselves in the presence of kids who they just think that those kids need punishment. They're talking about themselves and launching an attack upon themselves. So it's kind of like launching an attack upon the body. Yeah. Is Petronilla on with me today? I see someone who looks like they might be in the area where Petronilla is. Petronilla, if you're on, chat me up or raise your hand or something like that. Petronilla asked a question earlier. It was a good one. See, here it is right here. She's like, really? Why? That's a question. Really? Why? So I did a post. Subscribing to the idea of self-discipline is like a statement that you may take responsibility for your own life. You see that? It's a total misunderstanding of what's transpiring here. And she says, really? Why? Yay. Thank you, Petronilla. Anyways, if you want to talk with me, I'm so happy to talk with you about that. But otherwise, self-discipline assumes that you are doing things in the illusion. It assumes that you are responsible for how your life unfolds. And that's a misunderstanding of what your life is for, what you made it for, And I can't really tell you what your life is for. I could make words that tell you, but you'll feel it, if you look for it. Like, what is it really for, though? You'll feel it if you look for it. It's not to attain things in the world, that's for sure. And not anything, not even a better body, one weight loss might be one, or try to even be more spiritual. It's like the spirit is beckoning you. The spirit is beckoning you automatically. You don't have to do anything for it. Okay? It's only a matter of releasing your blocks, releasing your identification as a person. And as soon as you think that you need self-discipline, you're hooking in as a person. You're hooking yourself in as a person. So once you do that, it presents a heaviness as if you need to do something. And while you're thinking that you need to do something and believing that you need to do something, you cannot be open to seeing beyond that, to seeing who you are beyond that, because it's missing the point of extending love through everything, extending love through every illusion. In that case, it doesn't matter what transpires. It doesn't matter what goes on in the surface. And if you care, let's say it like that, just because it's fun. If you care about what becomes of you in the world, that's like a blinder, because that's future thinking. That's future thinking. I've heard people say, I need to lose weight. I need to meditate. I need to have more courage, all these different things. And just that association as an I like that is what the blinder is from seeing that this very thought right now that's saying I need something is an attack on myself. And it's making me very small, as if I'm very small and limited and need to be in control, if it's a lot of pressure on the person. And the person, you could say the person, which is a self-image made of thought, is kind of like a child. And I've expressed before, it's sort of like we're all the mother of this child, this self-image that's projecting a world, see? It's almost like each of us is the mother of this child, and it's kind of like popping up going, can you love me now? Do I look like this?
That's it. That's all it's looking for.
Yeah.
Not realizing that it is that. Well, it isn't that. It doesn't exist.
It does. It has no existence. And that's the thing, where there's a willingness to have its whole existence denied. I'm not saying to deny it. I'm not saying that. I'm saying a willingness to have its whole existence denied. That takes getting it as if it's real, feeling it as if it's real, but recognizing that you just made that feeling for yourself so that you could heal the cause of it. Okay? So it's like, some people hear me say, be willing to deny, be willing to have it be denied. It's not like denial. It's not like that. You don't deny anything. It's willingness to have it be denied. Willingness so that you will see that there's no existence. It really does not exist. That you just made it up.
To get the feeling.
Just to get the feeling. Yeah. I have one really fun chapter in my book. Here's my book again. Let's see if I can. There you go. Here's my book again. One really fun chapter in it. It's on bullying. I think it's anger and aggression, and it's about how I had the perception of bullying, and totally was willing to see that it was only in my perception, like I was only just painting that picture of that person, even though other people were agreeing with me that he was being a bully. And with willingness to see that the perception just changed. Over and over again, as it would arise for me, I'd be willing to see that it was coming from me. And specifically, I could sense it as an energy vibration eventually coming from my body's energy field and projecting outward as if there's a bully outside of me. See? So you cannot see anything outside of yourself until you've seen it already in your mind, unmanifest, about yourself. So everything you have a perception of, it's a self-reflection.
And that mind needs the others to support it.
Yes, to survive.
Right.
Yes.
Oh,
and one of the others is your self-image. That's also one of the others. See? As it's your self-image is projected outside of your mind. See? And it's taken, a lot of the times the self-image is taken as if it's actually you, when the self-image is really a collection of thought. See? And it's like a show, it's like a collection of thought by the universe. And it's like there's these judgments coming out from it. It's based on a body sense. Constantly feeling judged. So there's judgments projecting out of this self-image. And when you're just recognizing the judgments projecting out, You're recognizing what they are. They don't have any power over you. Then they don't go forth and make manifestations. They don't need to go forth and make manifestations because they're not backed up by your belief. I'll see projected judgments come out of me. Definitely less and less since I stopped believing that they were mine. Well, they're not mine. I'm not capable of owning anything.
Right.
This self-image that's appearing to be myself, like as a caricature of myself, is playing out thoughts, and it's completely innocent. It's completely innocent. So it's like the image, and then the image's world, the world of the image. It's all like my child. I love it. And that's why if something in the perception that I've painted, say one of the illusions in the perception that I've painted seems to be dying or has died, I'm not sad about that. It's a painting of dying. No one's dying. No one was born, and they're not going anywhere.
Yeah, there's nowhere to
They
go.
arose within me. That's all. As an image, they still are within me. They only arose as a sense projection. They still remain within me. They didn't go anywhere. They haven't gone anywhere. And the other thing is that everyone is doing and getting exactly what they're after. These are the experiences that are being asked for, that they're asking for from another perspective, not from the perspective of a doer, a perceiver, even a witnesser, whatever. It's from a different perspective, a perspective that's completely focused on healing the mind's attraction to suffering. Healing that attraction to suffering. That's what every single experience is for. And if it happens to be a death experience, that's really no different than any other kind of experience. Things are changing, but things are constantly changing in the illusion. Things are changeful, but in reality, nothing ever changes. That means that no one actually does die, and no one gets sick unless it's for serving some kind of purpose. From the ego's perspective, sickness has an agenda. There's an agenda to sickness, and that's for, getting that illusion that yes, you are guilty. Look, you're being punished right now with sickness. But it doesn't have to be like that. It doesn't have to be taken like that. Even every sickness can be taken as a benefit, because if you are willing to see it that way as a benefit, then it will reveal many gifts. It'll show you what thoughts you have to support in order to uphold a sickness, that your body can even be sick, that there can be a sick body.
Wow, I followed that. Wow, that was beautiful.
Hey, thank you for following. Okay, so here's something here. It says, healing yourself and inner child is what I'm struggling with, and trying to reinvest in my grace and heal ourselves. Okay, so here's the interesting thing about inner child. I really like this about it's really cool. There's no past. So it's not like you're carrying around this inner child. It's not like you're carrying around this inner child, okay? It's like this whole, everything that is arising in your perception, everything that's coming into your perception. It could be an angry person, a sad person, a happy person, including the person that you seem to be, the self-image that you seem to be. That could be feeling happy, sad, glad, worried, whatever, all of that. That is like your child. All of that is like your child. You don't have an inner child in the way that you might think, and seeing in the sense of separation, like you have this inner child that needs all this healing. And it's like, okay, take it like this, because there's no part of you that really needs any kind of healing like that. What gets healed is just this belief that you're separate. That's all. It's just this belief that you're separate. So you could take, you want to see your inner child. You want to see your inner child. Just look at your perception. Whatever is arising in your perception, you could say that is your inner child right there. And it's like, in loving that, in loving through that, let's say, in loving through that, because people will say, well, how can I love having the perception of this person coming up and, let's say, socking me in the jaw? How can I love that? And it's like, look, it gets the love because you're willing to see it. You're willing to have it reinterpreted. It has to be reinterpreted, because if it's interpreted as if someone from outside of you just came up to you and socked you in the jaw, that's it. You have no chance of forgiveness. You have no chance of true forgiveness. You can do this kind of fake forgiveness. Like, I know you're bad, but I'm better, so I forgive you. Don't do it again. But it's really closing the door on true forgiveness, because that takes a willingness to have the whole thing reinterpreted. And, when it's reinterpreted and you really see and you get the visceral experience that, yeah, I'm making this up. I'm making this up. Okay? And see, because you're making it up, because you are making it up, and you can guarantee yourself, if you want to, guarantee yourself that you are making it up if it feels at all uncomfortable. At all uncomfortable.
So when Hannah said that to me, Lolly, you had no business saying anything about my body.
Yes.
There was an uncomfortable immediately, and then there was a surrender. There was I'm sorry, sweetie. I didn't think about that at all. I won't do that again. And she came over and we had a really sweet moment. But that was feeling the compassion and love, not going with that uncomfortable that would have normally fought back. Don't worry about it. It's no big deal.
That sounds like my family right there with the accent.
That's exactly what my family did too.
That's fun. I love my family. They're great. And I'm not saying anything about
Me too.
Anything bad about it. That's just, that's our conditioning. And that's the way we were raised, as in, hey, just whatever it is that seems to be bothering you, kid, just like brush it under the carpet. We don't want to care about it,
I did tell her, though, that I would love it if she wasn't ashamed of her body. I said that literally I've gone through my whole life ashamed of this body until recently.
Yeah.
It's just literally recently, and I'm almost 55.
And you're having a good ass time in a bathing suit. I love to hear that. That's
oh my God. That's the best.
That's a blessing.
Total blessing.
Yeah.
With all younger, not younger, same age people, but smaller. Oh, it was beautiful. I created that for me.
And
made it up. Sailed right through.
Yeah.
So freeing.
Yeah. Oh, nice to see you, Christine. Yay. Oh, you answered her. Good job, Lori. You're hired. So, I've been shown time and time again, and I know that it's true, is that you can always relax a little bit more in your body's energy field. Your breath can always get a little bit deeper.
Oh, yeah.
Your shoulders can always relax a little bit more. You can sense wherever you're holding something. Sometimes the body will just be like in an awkward position where you're just like maybe cocked to one side or something like that. And, in realizing that this is what they say in yoga, and it really resonates with me. Your body is an emanation of your electrical field. So like your nervous system. It's like it's projecting right out of the nervous system. That's how they say it in yoga, Kundalini yoga to be exact. But it's the same thing as saying that it's projecting out of your mind, because it's like the mind is making this energy that we sense as a nervous system. That's this nervous system kind of energy that's running through the body and making all these different fluctuations. That's what we call it in the dream. And the body's emanating right out of that, and out of the body is emanating a world, and the world is interpreted through the body sense. So when we ask for a reinterpretation, that opens it up to an interpretation towards love. So we can see who they really are rather than what our mind wants to make out of them. And our mind only wants to make those images of people to get that self-identity. Okay? By an image of a person is like, they're this, they're that, they're really sweet even. They're really sweet. You got to recognize that that's a projection. They're so much more than that. They're so magnificent. They really cannot be painted as anything. And that's all people. That's all people, no matter what. It's sure there's some people that you'll meet who are more open, and especially more open and receptive to love. And that's probably the only difference. It's probably the only, it's like there's there's this receptivity or not that we recognize within each other. But really what we're painting a picture of them as if they're coming toward us, as if they're coming at us, as if they even might be threatening us. I have one friend who is sharing with me about how she is in close living quarters with someone who she's evicting. And she may get the notice that you'll have to stay with this person for another 45 days, like living in the same place and everything. And it feels like really uncomfortable. And we're having a conversation about it, and it's like, and I could see her kind of tune into the excitement in that, to feel, sensing that kind of uncomfort, like, wow, this guy is just like putting himself right into my experience, and I don't even want him here, and he's just going to be staying in my same place for another however much long, and you don't know if that's going to happen. There's just there's an idea that might happen, and a fear of it happening. And when there's a fear of something like that happening, it's like, oh, great. Because that's the idea that you can be threatened right there. That's the idea that you can be threatened. Like before it even manifests, before it even needs to manifest, it's like this idea that I can be threatened by something in the outer world. And this idea that I am not projecting this person who seems to be in front of me. And if you're giving yourself that kind of experience, you're giving yourself that kind of intense experience, it's because you know that you could see that you've only painted this picture. You've only painted this picture. It's not a reality. That's not really who they are. They're only there to share love. And when you can sense that, when you're in that state where you recognize and you're willing to recognize that it's only for sharing love, then it's easy to talk to people. It's like, oh, okay, yeah, I just don't like how this situation is going. Would you help me to find a solution? It's more like that. Ooh. I'm not really liking this. Would you help me to, there's all kinds of different ways it can come out. By no means am I giving any advice. I'm just expressing some different ways that I've seen things come, where it's just a connection is made, and not so much for that, for getting what you want, getting the experience out of it, because you really want the experience as it's unfolding. You really want it to unfold the way it does. You don't, when you put the control on it, it's kind of like mixes you up. It confuses you. It splits your mind. It's as if, I really want to not have to control this thing. and have everything just coming for me. But then on the other hand, I'm projecting that I need to control it. See? So it makes this sense of confusion, like, oh, it's supposed to be easy, but it's terrible. It's hard. And, it is easy, and it's just our thoughts about it that make it as if it's something difficult. And that could apply to anything. That could be applied to, let's see, that could be applied to feeling like someone's violent toward you. And you take it, you recognize, oh, that's me. I'm feeling violent. I didn't realize I was feeling violent, and that's why I got the sense of violent. I projected it outward so it could be over there. That's all. And when you're willing to see it like that, that's how your perception actually gets healed. You've probably heard a bunch of times from different spiritual people talking about the only thing that can heal is your perception, right? There's no world. The only thing that can heal is your perception. So the way to have your perception healed is only willingness. And willingness is way different from intention, because intention is more like a future thing. I intend to do this. Willingness is now. It's right now, when it seems like something occurs to you that's taking you on some kind of a trip about how something is wrong, or how you're wrong, or how you could have done it wrong. Any kind of upset. A willingness to have that be complete, have the existence of that thing that you're thinking about be completely denied. That's how you get complete relief. Okay? The only way to have it denied, though, is to have the perception of it. So you have the perception of it to have it denied. Okay? And you have to feel what it feels like to believe in it like that, to have that kind of relationship with that thought wave. To feel what it feels like to have that kind of relationship with a thought wave, as if that thought is true. And then with willingness to have that whole thing denied. Like who you thought that person was, whoever you thought that person was, are you willing to have that denied? See? Are you willing for that to be denied, or do you want to hang on to it? Who you think you are right now, are you willing to have that denied? And see that your existence itself, you're beyond everything that you can see or sense. See? But most of the time, most people aren't willing to know that, because they feel as if they need to control something right now. There's a sense that right now something needs to be controlled. But if you take a moment and just look at what is upholding that sense, what is upholding the sense that you need to be in control right now? See? And notice some tension in going beyond that. When something's got your attention, oh my God, I need to. Thinking, right? And something's got notice there's some tension. Almost like, no, I can't allow myself to release that much. Notice that tension. Just underneath that tension, there's an even greater opening. More vast. Even greater than you knew. There's just a little bit of tension on the surface that says that if you release there, you're going to be lost. A lot of people tend to get lost in the idea of confusion. You know, when you have this sense of confusion, it's because confusion is arising in you. You know what that means? That means that you cannot be confused. You're not capable of getting confused. Confusion arises in you, and then you take it to be about yourself. You take it to be you, and then you think you're confused. You are not capable of getting confused. You totally know who you are, and you've decided to take on a different role. Just because of the thought that you separated yourself from who you are. You've decided to take on a different role. It was a choice. And it continues to be an ongoing choice, one way or the other. Either to keep it, either to keep the illusion, or go back to who you really are. Recognizing who you really are. Free of that guilt that you put on yourself for thinking you separated yourself from your source. Okay, Yulia, is there another way to watch it? Yes, the video stops. I don't know what's going on about that. Yes, come on, you did. Yulia, you're here. Yes. I know I'm here. Yes, you've been commenting. That's hilarious. Yeah, I'm just a little later on the comments than you might expect. All right. And that is very powerful. I do realize so much stems from your thoughts. Yes. And here's the thing. All of it is a manifestation of thought. Your thought. Forget about collective consciousness. Just get that out of there. Because then it depends on other people to do stuff. And there aren't any other people. Everyone's already perfect. Everyone is already in heaven, let's say, and including yourself. Whatever is perceived to be wrong, it's a perception. It's a misperception. We're making the misperceptions. Okay? So when you perceive another person, what you're perceiving is mistaken self-belief. Hold on a second. I feel a sneeze coming on. Well, maybe not.
I want to say hi to Christine. So
Okay.
good to see you here too, because she can't see my comment for, I guess.
Oh, she can't? Oh, okay. When you make a comment, instead of saying to all panelists, put it on to all panelists and attendees down at the bottom of the drop down.
Oh,
You see that?
I got it.
Okay, so just switch that and then you'll be able to do it.
I did. Okay.
Okay. You probably have to comment again though for her to see it.
Right. Well, I just said hi to her. That's what I just said. Hi, Christine. So good to see you here too.
Oh, how perfect. Yay. I have no idea what I was just talking about. Isn't that fun?
I mean,
oh yeah, so painting, it's like we're painting a picture. We're not seeing each other. We're seeing mistaken self-belief. Mistaken self-belief is what everyone is using to project an image, myself included. I'm not saying that I'm free of it, otherwise you wouldn't be able to see me. I know what the goal is, though. I know the goal is to get free of needing a self-image. The self-image is only a substitute. It's only a substitute identity. It's a temporary identity, and it's for seeing through this idea that we separated ourselves from our source. Okay, so it's like this temporary self-image, this self-belief, this mistaken self-belief makes an image. So what we see in other people is our perception of their mistaken self-belief. Okay. It's like you take this image of mistaken self-belief and then paint over it instead of recognizing that that's just mistaken self-belief. And when you look past your own, you look past theirs at the same time. See? It's like those go together. Those go together. So say someone's approaching you and they're coming up to you and they're, let's say they seem crazy. They're over there talking to themselves. They seem distraught and stuff like that, right? And when you recognize that they're not really like that, when you're willing, you have to be willing to. See, that's the thing. It's a willingness. It's a willingness to have a reinterpretation. Because in the reinterpretation, and when it gets to these things that are really, sticky for us, like it's really hard to see through, wow, that person sure does seem crazy. They're acting so crazy. It's like, that's even that projection of thought, that person, that's about yourself. It's about yourself. When you come back to recognizing that it is about yourself, you don't have to change anything, but you get that sense that it's about yourself. And that's how your mind learns. Oh, I don't need to hold that about myself. There's no need to hold that about myself. And so the projecting stops, and then it doesn't have any effects. Woo! Oh, there's that sneeze. Yeah. So it's all about when the projecting, all sense projecting happen too. Projecting might happen, like even, just to give you an example, fuck this or something like that, and then just in recognizing, oh, it's a projection. It's just so that I can get this body reaction that, it's like it's giving a reason for that body reaction. There's this body reaction to this sense that I have in there, and it's giving a reason for it. The reason is all made up. That reason is all made up. So say there's a crazy person, and this sense that I'm getting of perceiving a crazy person is the whole reason why I see this, because I want to have that sense, because that's how I feel about myself. Whatever that sense is, see, that's the sense that you get about yourself. When you recognize it's a sense that you get about yourself, you don't have this wall between you and other people. And who knows, you might see some most amazing connections coming out of that.
It makes me think of walking with Nicole this morning, and she's judging someone for doing something that she thinks is just ridiculous. In my wanting to say something but zipping it because I don't want to get into it, so I've made her judge these people this way.
You are projecting everything that you perceive.
I'm projecting her judging.
Yep. Everything you perceive, you're asking her to say that to you. You're saying, say this to me, because you want to get that reaction. You want to get that body sense.
Because I see the innocence in others. And as she's, okay, so I'm not seeing the innocence in her because I'm judging her for judging.
See how easy it is? It's tricky. It's tricky.
Very tricky.
But it's easy. It's really easy, because it's any time you hold anything against someone. Like if they shouldn't be doing that, immediately what's going on is it turns you into like a hypocrite.
Yes. I just saw that. I mean, my mouth was hanging open because I literally just saw that.
Yeah. I've heard someone say before, we're all hypocrites.
Yeah, wow.
So it's like, and yeah, we would all be hypocrites if it was possible that we are judging, but we're not. Judgment is projecting, and we're believing that it means something. We're giving value to it. See, when judgment projects from my body's energy field, I love it because it laughs. It's so fun. Because, I know what it is. It's not like it needs to stop. Not like it needs to stop. Oh, stop doing that. It can be, judgment can project for me. That's for comedy. I don't make it mean anything, then it's not going to have any effects. It's not going to be making it as if it's me against the world. Right. See? It is going to be happy. It lets there be a happy vibe for everyone, because then there's no need to try to analyze it. You don't even have to spend any time on it. Who's judging? Who?
Wow.
And there's no difference if it came out of your mouth or your friend's mouth. See? there gets to be like, especially with people who are on a spiritual path, is this idea like it's more spiritual if it's not coming out of your mouth. It really doesn't matter. It really doesn't make any difference because it's for the same exact thing. And there's no person like that. It's all just arising in the perception. It doesn't speak to who you are. What speaks to who you think you are is how you feel about it.
Mm.
That's like,
It felt icky.
yeah. That's what speaks to who you think you are in that moment. And you see how mixed it is, Lori. You see how mixed it is. Like there's this innocence, and then there's this thinking that you're. But the innocence will be more and more. You'll see that come to the forefront more and more because that's what's naturally there when you're not riding on judgment.
Right.
So you're going to see more and more of that as opposed to all this judgment.
Okay, I like that.
But first, you got to enjoy the judgment.
Right.
Enjoy the judgment because it's meaningless.
Meaningless. It doesn't define anything.
No, it's nothing. Why am I thinking that? Geez, the other day the thought occurred to me, I hate my life. And I was just like, yes, that's a good one.
That's a good one.
It's like these are impersonal thoughts just circulating the mind.
Yeah.
That could really throw a person, especially who thinks that they've achieved a certain amount of spirituality, for a loop. To have the thought occur to them, I hate my life, as if that's personal. And now, oh my God, why is that thought coming? Mm-hmm. And that's the funniest thing. I just have the most fun with it because it's like, oh my goodness, how that thought could be taken. And it's just a thought. And if it's something that's going to strike fear in your heart and you don't want to know about it, your mind's going to move to try to conceal it from you. So it's playing just under the surface and just making manifestations like, I hate my life.
Right.
Just making me act like I hate my life. Right. Because because that's the thing. If you don't see it and recognize it and laugh, you're not laughing about it. It's getting some power. And then it's making you express as if you hate your life. That's how denial works. See?
And anything that you hate, that hate is living, it's here. It's just emanating.
The hate. Yeah. Well, it feels awful. That's just arising in you. It's like a passing thing. Yeah. See? It's all funny. It's all funny. It's kind of like this grumpy old lady going, that's awful.
Grumpy old lady.
It's okay, Ma. It's okay.
Nothing is a bummer.
Yeah. Nothing has gone wrong. It's all the same. It's all just that same thought that you separated yourself from who you are, replaying over and over again. And you can always ask for a reinterpretation. Innocent and can never be proven guilty. You got it. Yes. And see, you demonstrate that to yourself. And, I've even seen it demonstrated in my own experience where someone has come up and clearly in so many words, Hope, you are guilty. You did, and, with evidence, you did it like this. And, and I just got the feeling of that because I know that's not possible. But it really felt like it got the feeling of that. And it was like, oh, thank you for letting me know. And it's just that sense that, that I could be guilty just completely left me.
So that's what happened with Hannah.
Okay.
That's what happened when I felt guilt.
Yeah.
I said what she didn't want to be said.
Yes.
It was guilt. But then the guilt went away as I said, you're right, sweetie. I'm sorry that I. But I didn't do anything.
You didn't do anything. But sometimes the expression comes out like that just because of the way you feel. And, it's always your expression is coming from the way you think. See? So then it seems like someone's hurt in the perception. And that's where the sorry comes from. It's like, oh, wow. It's like, I missed the mark. It's not
Right.
like there's anything wrong with saying I'm sorry. It's not really true because you didn't do anything. But when you go back to your feeling sense, you're going to be made to say whatever is necessary to be said to make things smooth and also authentic. See? So the authenticity is still there with I'm sorry, because the way you're expressing it is as I care about how you feel.
Right.
I love you. That's totally through the illusion. It's not taking on any kind of defensive-ness or anything.
Right.
It's totally looking through the illusion. It's like, oh, of course, of course, I love you, and I wouldn't want to do anything to harm you, of course, and we don't have a choice in that, but it's not always the proper time to be like, well, I didn't really have a choice in that. And
Yeah.
it's not like that anyways. When someone's expressing their discomfort with you, you could say that you really want to feel that discomfort with them. You want to get the sense of it so that what caused it can be resolved. So you're not getting the sense, you don't need to get the sense of causing discomfort. That's not something that's really natural for you anyways. That's why it feels so weird.
Mm.
You can't really do it. It's just that there's a sense of discomfort in you, a sense of uncomfort, and it's presenting itself in that way. See? So
Mm.
everything always goes perfectly. It can't go any better or worse than the way it's going. Everything's always, it's because it's always revealing to you, and it's learning more and more.
Mm.
It's like you may not even realize because of your conditioning, when you just like start talking about someone's body, they might not be super stoked about that, you know?
Yeah.
Kids will call you on it. That's what's fun. Okay, let's see. Judging the speck in your brother's eye when you have a beam in your own eye. Yes, Bob, that's very biblical. Yes. And the speck that you see in your brother's eye does always mean you have a beam in your eye. Always.
Mm.
That's the thing. That's why, I tell my friends, you know what you're doing. You know what you're doing. When it seems like you're confused, when it seems like you're confused, you are making a choice to identify with that confusion. You're making a choice and you're doing it so well that you have yourself convinced. You have yourself even convinced that you're actually confused. Isn't that amazing? Isn't that amazing? Powerful. I had a fun episode with that recently, with the guilt, no guilt, problem, no problem situation. Yes, and I had one recently too, where, I've been working on this book website for my book, by the way. My book! Unschooling for Parents. Working on a website on this book, the mock-up, the website mock-up came to me, and I was like, oh yeah, looks good, okay, awesome. And then, so the web designer did a bunch of work and put it into the website, and I saw the website, I was like, oh no, it's not launching like that, no way. And I asked her, kind of like asking for guidance, because I wasn't sure. I just go, hey, what can we do about this? Because now I'm not into this design. She's like, well, you approved it. I have the email showing that you approved it, So immediately there's this temptation toward a sense of, oh my God, I did it wrong. I approved it. And then she did all that work. Oh my goodness. And I just go, oh, well, that's okay. That's okay. What will it take to get it in a way that I like it? Can you help me with that? And then found out the answer was no. And so now I met someone else before ever getting that information. I met someone else who wants to mock it up for me. So I just said, okay, now go ahead and mock it up for me. You know, it's always like, and then it's like, not like the person who I'm working with is doing anything wrong or anything. It's just like, hey, that's not going to fly. I'm not launching like that. It's not like, it's not, when she first answered me back, she was like, oh, well, I'm sorry you feel that way. I'll give you a final bill and you can go be on your way. And I was like, oh, well, that wasn't even what I meant, but okay.
Wow, that was
Okay.
taken
And
personal.
I said, I didn't mean that I didn't want to work with you. I appreciate your work. It's just that it's not going to launch like that. It has to be a different, and I don't know what the design is. I don't know what the design is. I don't even have like a vision for the design. It hasn't been presented to me, but I'll know what it is when I see it. So but it's not, it, she realized after I let her know, it's not like I'm looking to work with someone else. I'm not mad at you or anything, and I'm going to pay you and everything for all the work that you've done. It's just that it needs to be this way before it gets launched. So we just go in that direction. It's not like there's a problem with it. You see?
Right.
It's not like anyone's doing anything wrong, like holding any kind of guilt against anyone.
That happened with me with there was a guy in Florida that when I went the first time, he made he makes surfboards, small surfboards, mock surfboard, and he paints on them beautiful beach scenery. And we had him because Peter got a Corvette, an old 62 Corvette. So we wanted that put on the beach part. Yeah, put a scene in the beach part. So when I went down the second time, he had it done, and I looked at it, and there was the whole right hand side. There was nothing there. Nothing. It was just sky and ocean. It was
Yeah.
That's it. And I was like, it looked so empty because the car and the palm tree and everything was on the left, and there was just nothing on the right hand side. So Angie and I are standing there talking, and I'm going, oh my God, there's something needs to go there. Something, just something. And then she started looking through his book, and she goes, oh, a dolphin coming out of the water would be cool. And then I said, maybe a couple of birds. And that's exactly what it needed. And it was perfect. He did it while we went and did a little bit of shopping, came back, it was done.
Yeah.
No guilt, no
Yeah.
accusing. Just, yeah, it worked out beautifully.
And I noticed, in the scenario that I presented with the book website, it was like immediately there was a sense that, maybe there was a feeling of guilt and a projection of guilt back to me. Well, you approved it. Like that means something.
Right.
You approved it. Look, I even have proof of your email. You approved it. And I'm like, I know, I take full responsibility for approving it. And now I disapprove it. You see, it's like always is like a hook to try to make a guilty mean something.
Right.
Try to make guilty. Oh, I feel so bad that I approved it. Why did I approve that? And that's what the play is for. The play is always for making you feel like you've made mistakes. It's so funny. It's so funny.
And that comes from when we're kids.
You get the sense that you made a mistake. It's like, okay, my bad. And now,
Now it's got to change.
now it's still not going up like that.
What was so bad about it?
Well, nothing's so bad about it. It's just not, it doesn't feel representative of my energy, I guess. Okay. So it's not like anything really bad about it. It's just like, oh, no, I'm not feeling it with that.
Right.
I'm not feeling it with that. That's what I mean. I get a feeling off of things. It's like, oh yeah, I want to feel like, oh yeah, with it,
This is exactly what I'm noticing now.
Yeah.
It's all about feeling.
Yeah. It's a feeling.
Every experience, it's about feeling now.
Yeah. Yeah, and I'm all good with not having a website until it's really good.
Well, it's the way you feel, the way it feels good.
Well, that's how my book is.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I held out for pictures, I held out for pictures. I heard in my perception.
What's that one?
That's Blaze.
Oh, that's Blaze?
Yeah. Isn't that sweet? There was a sense that I couldn't have pictures in it because it had already gone too far. Like people had done their work to have my book go live, and all the work is already done. So you can't really go back and put your pictures in. And I said, okay, well, I would like to have the pictures in. So if you would be inspired to go back and put the pictures in, how much would that cost me? And then I just said, okay, that sounds like a great deal. Let's do it. Look at this is one of my favorite ones of Braun.
Oh my gosh.
He's in a cornfield.
Mouth's wide open.
Yeah. He's happy.
Yeah, he is.
That's how he cruises around, though. He's a happy little dude.
Yeah, he is.
Can you show us all the pics? Bob, you're so funny. Now, how about you just get a copy? How about that? I'll send you a copy. I'm going to get once they could become available, which will be in like 2 or 3 days, maybe even less. That's like their maximum time or something. I'm learning that it comes out way faster. This is a really cute one of me and Blaze.
Go up a little. Up, up, up. Oh, look at him. That is cute. How long ago was that?
Well, Blaze looks like he's probably about 11 there, and he's 17, so 6 years.
Yeah, 6 years. Yeah.
So sweet.
That's how old he was when I met you on the island.
Yeah, probably.
6 years ago. It was in March.
Yeah. Maybe 11 there. I'm not really sure. God, it's so sweet. It was so fun writing that book because it's so different. It's completely different from how we've been trained to be parents, like how to get your kids to do what you want them to do.
Mm.
And instead of recognizing that you and your child have a shared interest, and that is awakening from this dream where you have bodies that die.
Which is painful.
You both want that. And that's why your child comes. That's why children come. And that's why this world as a child is made manifest. See how it applies across to everything. The whole world is made manifest because it's like a child. It's like a child. Through it, you can give loving care to yourself. Everyone is you. So it's like you ask for that reinterpretation that's going to allow you to offer loving care. That reinterpretation, as in total realization. You can even say right now, I'm asking for total realization that this world does not exist as I perceive it. That this person, this problem does not exist as I'm perceiving it. See? And then, the solution and the different actions and the different ideas, they can just bubble up simply as a matter of course and occur to you. And the actions can be taken very easily because they're just taken in thought anyway. And everything it reveals itself. Everything can reveal itself as an illusion if you allow it. See? There's a real fear of allowing it to reveal itself as an illusion. Well, it's not a real fear.
Yeah.
It's just a sense. It's just a sense like, oh no, don't go there. You're going to lose it. You're going to lose yourself basically. Because all this sense of yourself is based on thought. And when you're starting to show that thought isn't really meaningful, it doesn't really exist in reality, it's like the self-image gets nervous because it's programmed that way. Get nervous about it.
Because it knows it's going.
It feels as if you're losing your ground. Some people describe it as psychedelic because it feels as if you're losing your touch the way you describe your touch with reality. See?
Yeah.
But that fear is only surface. That fear is only on the surface because when the self-image is released, as the self-image is feeling felt through, there's a greater sense of relaxation than you can imagine beneath that surface. See? And once you taste that sense of relaxation, then you know that you can go back to it anytime. Nothing in the world can make you feel vulnerable. Nothing can be threatening to you.
Boy, that feels good.
So hooray! Do we have anything else? Does anyone have any questions for me? Let me check my Facebook and see what we got. No? Just some loving up? Some sweet loving up. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate you. So if anyone wants to write me a question or anything, please do so within the next couple of minutes. Oh, we have a hand. This is so fun. Yes, I will allow you to talk. Yulia.
Hope.
Yes, my love. How are you doing?
I just want to talk to you and Lori.
Yay, thank you for coming on.
Yes.
Hi,
Good to be here.
Yes.
The thing happening where I see my name on the screen again. It's a little annoying.
If you don't like that, you could pin any of those to the screen. You can pin any one that you want if you're on the webinar.
How do I do that? How do I pin you to the screen?
Well, if you go to mine, see the 3 dots?
Yes, chat? No, wait.
Click on the 3 dots and put pin video.
No, those are the wrong 3 dots. I'm seeing the chat.
Hover over my photo on the top. You see the little photo of me
Nope.
with the video? See 3 dots there?
Nope. I don't see any little photos of you. You or me.
Maybe can I do it? Will it work if I did it?
You could do it for yourself only.
Oh.
Yeah. You see a little video of me, Yulia?
I see a big video of you. That's all I see.
Oh, okay. Is that what you wanted to see?
I don't know.
Okay.
I mean, it keeps disappearing, like I said. It keeps switching.
Oh, okay.
When you talk, it goes to you.
Yes, it does.
When Hope talks, it goes
For some
to
reason, feels really odd to me.
Let me see. Hide non-video participants. There we go. Did I do it?
Nope.
Oh, I only did it for myself.
Oh, well, it's not
You
important.
have to do it for yourself, Yulia.
Yeah, I'll have to figure out how or why or whatever.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah. No, I just want to talk to you.
Non-video participants. There we go. I was seeing what it looks like. Oh, yeah. That's hilarious. All right. Well, maybe there's something in the settings.
What if I close the chat? Maybe I'll see something. I closed the chat, but it's still not helping.
Okay.
So Yulia, when okay, Hope, talk so we can get you back up.
Yulia, what are you on for? What are you doing?
Okay, so Yulia, if you put your cursor at the top of your name, it's small right now, right? It's a small box. Oops.
No, it's giant.
It's giant now. Yeah.
It has been.
Oh, huh.
Does it say on the whole time? Giant?
No. It switches from one screen to the other, but each time it's a big screen.
It's a big screen.
Or my name or Big Lori.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, I'll talk to them about that.
Yeah, let me tell you something fun.
All right.
I was on an awesome vacation, and I had 2 episodes when I threw real fits. I felt like a baby throwing fits.
Oh, good.
Because I didn't get to go swimming when I wanted to go swimming, or didn't get enough walking or something like that, or the way we went swimming wasn't exactly how I wanted. And it's so much fun because my partner reminded me, wait a minute, but you say that everything is a projection. And I go, yeah, it is.
When they school you.
Yeah, and I get this instant relief. Instant relief. But
Yes.
another episode which was tied to these other two. So basically we were out and we were supposed to be swimming in bioluminescence, like kayaking and swimming. And had so much hope put into that I'm gonna, dive and swim. And I really like swimming, like free open water, free swimming, things like that. And I'm gonna free dive in that, and it's gonna be so wild and so awesome. But instead, turned out that they wouldn't let us do that without life jackets.
Okay.
Pissed off! I got so pissed off. You have no idea. I was basically throwing a mini fit, not too big, but basically, they just had to explain that they can't allow that. It's insurance, and if they allow me, they'll have to allow other people. And I said, okay, and I kind of like fell into the water from the kayak, and just on purpose, and that's vest. And late, and then then I was fine. I was laughing, but my partner told me later he was really embarrassed over how I behaved.
Oh, how awesome! That is
Yes, and we had this whole conversation because him and I agreed that there is no guilt and nobody is ever guilty. And I was trying to explain that there is no guilt in that either. And he says, well, I'm not saying you're guilty, but that was embarrassing, to me.
Yeah.
And why can't you be nice to people when they tell you there are rules? And I go, well, because I don't, rules are not such an important thing,
Yeah.
A lot of things used to be rules in the past, like slavery used to be a law and it was a rule. Then people, rebelled against it. And so now people think it's bad. And there are a million other things that were ruled before, So,
Yeah,
but
and you don't have to just because you find yourself not agreeing with the rule, be mean to the person with the rule.
right. I didn't feel like I was mean. I was just, a little pissed off.
And when you see that you're pissed off, that's it. You got it.
That's the feeling.
Yep, you got the feeling. So it's like, okay, this thing. Bob wrote, Yulia doesn't exist. Yeah,
Of course, yes. That too.
Yeah, what's getting pissed off and what's getting embarrassed also doesn't exist. It's arising in your perception. That means you're projecting it for yourself. So it has value in that way that you're projecting it for yourself so that you can get the feeling of it. So you can get the sense of separation in that particular way and see through it.
Yeah, yeah. It was like it seemed to me that something like that couldn't happen to me anymore. And it was really fun. I mean, there's no me, of course.
Yeah.
Catch myself being in such a baby fit and so pissed off and so attached to something.
You just have to laugh about it.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah. You just have to laugh about
and we know my partner and I would totally resolve that thing perfectly, and I don't know how. It just ended and we were like, we're fine with each other. We love each other. We're happy. But,
yeah.
But for a while, I didn't know what to say and how to explain it.
How to explain what?
Why that isn't all a problem,
Yeah, well, you don't see
none of that.
The explaining that you're doing, any explaining that you're doing, you're explaining it to yourself. So, see, and you're trying to convince another person. It's like you're explaining it to yourself. And in many of those instances, you're trying to use the other attorney or the other person, secretly trying to use that other person to try to convince you that you are guilty. Because when you're explaining to them, you're already saying that I am guilty.
I know what, throughout that conversation, I really didn't feel like it. I really didn't feel like I was feeling guilty. But okay. I also felt like I didn't want to hurt the person.
So yeah, that's also a manifestation of guilt.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah. So the explaining is to try to alleviate that, From the ego's point of view, the explaining is trying to alleviate hurt.
I was also felt like I was forced to explain because the person, wanted to talk about it, right? My partner wanted to go to talk about it. He was feeling emotional,
Huh?
embarrassed.
So is
Yeah.
that embarrassment hers?
Always the projection is coming from your body's energy field. His embarrassment, it's always coming from your body's energy field. What does it mean to you? What is it projecting about? You could tell by how it feels, how you take it, your automatic reaction to it. That's how you can tell. So when you get when you hear that he's embarrassed, or maybe he feels upset or anything, there's this sense like, oh no, I don't want him to be upset and stuff. And and then whatever arises out of that. And it's not any problem. It's just revealing something. So when you go into explaining yourself, remember, you're always talking to yourself. You're always talking to yourself.
Yeah, the way I was explaining it wasn't exactly like I did it because or this or that, but I was just trying to say that I was trying to explain how all of that is okay. Even if I did the most ridiculous thing and tore off my, life jacket and cursed at everyone and swam away or something like that. Even that would have been okay.
It's okay with you. Yes.
Explain.
It's okay with you. It may or may not be okay with him. That's up to him.
Right. I don't mean like okay with someone, but how nothing is really a problem.
It's like, I understand. Let's have a hug about it.
Right, something like that.
Yeah, it's like, I understand. That's a hard perception to have. Kind of like Tori with the little girl. It's like, it's like, hey, sorry. I didn't realize it was like that for you. No.
Yeah.
It's like it's like it's like this is the way it is. I don't have to justify it. You see, I don't have to justify it. So I'll get that sometimes too, and especially I've seen it in my relationship with my partner. Like, tell me how this action is justified with your spirituality. Show me how this action is justified with your spirituality.
Yeah, exactly. Something.
Yeah.
Like that.
So that's really like coming from this sense that you need to explain yourself. See? And it's not something like that. It's not up to you like that. Do you see where I'm coming from on this? Where, that sense that you need to explain yourself. Like, how can you say that you have these views that you have when you're acting like this? And when that arises, look very, very closely, because it's real subtle. It's real subtle. It's real, especially when you're in a close relationship with someone like that. And, the projection is that you're not in integrity, let's say. The projection is that you're not in integrity. So you feel that projection and get that projection like that. Anything that comes out, it just comes out as a matter of course. Just let it come out as a matter of course. You never have a choice in it anyways. You know that. You never have a choice in it anyways. So if he's asking for some kind of guidance or something like that, that's going to come out automatically. That's going to come up automatically. Now, in a relationship where someone demands that you're explaining yourself, demands that you explain, you need to explain yourself so I feel better about you and you feel better about being with you right now. See? When someone comes up and demands that, it seems like they're coming up and demanding that, and then you give it to them, and then it seems to smooth something out, that is going beneath. That's going underneath the surface. Okay? Because it's still as if you can do something to not be worthy of love. And that's why the sense that, okay, you need to explain yourself so that I can feel better about you. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know. No, my partner has totally amazed me because it wasn't like that. It wasn't like demanding at all.
Mm-hmm.
It was more like, help me out. Look at what I'm feeling.
Yeah. Perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect. I love it.
Like no lack of love whatsoever, which amazed me, you know. It almost
Yeah.
humbled me, you know, and the way he is with people is, why would you want to do that to those people, you know, be so mean to them?
I need to know. Yeah, it's kind of like a scared child asking me. I need to know how you can, you know. And I had my daughter ask me one time. We're on a trip together, and she's like, "Mom, why did you do that?" And I just go, "I was playing a pattern.
Yeah.
Thank you for playing." You know, it's that simple. It's that simple. It doesn't need
You
to
know,
be
it's so sweet
justified.
to hear, like, wait a minute, you say yourself this is all a projection. How can you like be
Yeah.
so about this? Like, you're right, it is.
Yes, it is. And obviously I've been attacking myself and didn't realize it, and then I just did it over there.
And then it's like such an instant relief
Yeah.
when you totally agree with that and you go like, yeah.
Yeah. It really is. And you know, it's instantly like, yeah, I was just projecting.
instead of
Hmm.
denying it. Yeah.
Yeah, instead of trying to deny it. I mean, it's like that's that's it. That's the bottom line. You know, I don't um say that it's, you know, like it should be okay with you or something, you know. It's like that's what it was projecting. And if anyone is upset about that, that's the feeling that I get. I just get the feeling that they're
Again.
upset about it. See?
Oh, yeah, but you can't say that to them. I still
Say what?
I still confuse him with the explanations of how I see this whole thing. He always says that it's too technical. I don't know what's technical about it.
Who says it's technical?
My partner.
Yeah, my
Oh, he
husband
says it's
too says you
Oh yeah,
in.
it could seem really hard. I know that the mind can distort it to where it looks like it's something really difficult when it's really so easy.
Yeah, it's simple.
Yeah, it's real simple. You just watch the energy play. You just watch it, and your mind learns as you go.
Mm-hmm.
Yay for your love affair! It sounds like a
Thank you. Yay. Yeah,
sounds like a wonderful, loving exchange, and I'm super happy for you. And what's his
it
name?
is.
What's the guy's name?
Christian.
Nice.
And he's very handsome man
Yes,
too.
Yulia, very nice.
Thank you.
Yes, it's lovely.
Yes. Lots of love.
Thank you for sharing that. I really appreciate it. That is
Thank you.
one example of, you know, when you agree together that you're gonna see no separate interests,
Mm,
you know,
Mm-hmm.
beautiful.
and it's like you're free of these energies. And you know, and here's the thing too, even if your partner is coming up to you asking you to explain yourself, that is the best, and it's your perception. See?
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
even if you are having the perception of your partner asking you to explain yourself, which I've had many times, I love it. Yeah, it's great. And then you know, you're getting the feeling sensation of that, and you're just like really curious to watch what it is that's going to arise and come out of you, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And I had the experience one time. It's like I had the perception that whatever he was asking was really insinuating something, and I said, "It seems like you mean this. It seems like you mean this." And then he goes, "Oh, well, you did do this." And I go, "Oh, very," and then that's it. And it was so fun just to have that perception, you know, that like, "Oh, well, it seems like you're saying this. Well, you did do this." So, and I'm like, "Oh," and then it's like so fun and funny to me. That's like all it takes. The perception changes.
Mm.
Watching what you'll do is an interesting thing because I literally had moments where I like heard myself say something and in the back of my mind it was like what is that?
Yeah. Yeah, it's like you take a step back and you're watching yourself play out, and it's like, whoa, what am I even saying? And
Who's saying that?
yeah,
What in the world is that?
you're just watching it go. That's so fun.
Yeah, at some point I was like, oh, I'm so tired of this. I was like, wait a minute. Who is tired of what? Like, why did I even say that?
And you didn't say it. That's exactly the same like I shared earlier where I hate my life.
Uh-huh.
It's no you did not say that. But you can make it into something if you want.
Yeah, it was exactly that same sense. Like, who said that? Like,
Yeah,
how?
who said that? Like who there?
Yes.
Who there? So it's like you can have your perception change in an instant if you're willing to have it reinterpreted. See? You have it change in an instant if you're willing to have it reinterpreted. And I would say that, if you're finding yourself with having this kind of perception, with this kind of a love relationship like that, you're allowing a lot of peace for yourself. You're allowing a lot of peace for yourself in your own mind.
Mm-hmm.
That can easily, no matter what you think your man looks like, that can easily be interpreted to something that's shitty.
Mm-hmm.
See what I'm saying? It can even easily be interpreted into something else and made into something else. Like you make it whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
So now apply that same thing when you're ever having conversations with your kids.
Yeah. I don't see them very often now.
Oh, you don't? Okay.
One has gone to China for a while.
Yeah.
Was
Wow.
out with his girlfriend a lot, but we actually had an awesome exchange with his girlfriend. The
Oh,
girlfriend
how lovely.
worried about. It turns out I have fun talking to her. A lot of fun.
Oh, good.
I talk to her more than to my son
Mhm.
because she's a lot more talkative.
Yeah.
Mm,
Yay.
yeah.
Candy. Oh.
All right, congratulations, Juliet. I'm really happy to hear about that, especially the going through the sense that you're being victimized. That's really awesome.
Yeah, I didn't, oh, like victimized. Yeah. I mean, I didn't really feel it with my partner. I felt like I was victimized by like, how dare they, how stupid is it that I have to wear my life jacket in this? Something
Yeah,
like
yeah. It's
that.
fun. It
I
just
guess a victimization.
fun with it. Having fun with it
Yes.
and not worrying about that thought that says you should be doing something different or you should be somewhere else.
Right, right. That's a big one. Oh, and thank you to Lori about the whole thing about not being about the body shame. She just the way she says it, it's uh,
Wow.
the energy of it. I really feel it.
Wow.
Yeah, Lori,
Uh-huh.
that's really inspiring. I've seen that transformation occur since we started talking, huh, Lori?
Yes, because it was a heavy.
Yeah,
It
we
was
were
a
having some convo about that too.
lot.
Yeah,
Lots of combo about that. That was
yeah,
heavy, horrible feeling. Oh,
Yeah, I
every
had
time
a
I
lot of the body identification in my life and a very big deal about it. Being a former dancer and all that. Oh wow.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
All right, so everyone, thank you. I appreciate you.
Thank
So
you.
the book, Unschooling for Parents, if you'd like to get the Kindle copy, it's available now. You'll still see the pictures and everything. It's just like this.
How, how about a paper copy?
Couple days it'll be available.
And you'll post the info, right?
Yeah, I'll post a link to it. In a
Right.
couple days you'll be able to get the paper copy.
Woohoo!
All right. Okay, so wisdom, what's that?
Congratulations.
Oh, thank you. Yes, so stoked. I'm really happy for all the parents and children who will be benefited by the information in the book.
Yeah.
I'm really stoked about that.
Very good.
And yeah, I'll be back in 2 weeks. I'm taking a week off for Wisdom Dialogues. I'll be back in 2 weeks. I'm going to go on a silent retreat with Molly, a private silent retreat. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And yeah, I know I'm gonna have a lot to share with you guys in 2 weeks after I go on a silent retreat. So I look forward to meeting up again in 2 Tuesdays. Check out wisdomdialogues.org if you want to see all my videos. If you'd like to join live, you want the invitations to join live, just go to facebook.com/groups/wisdom dialogues. If you want a link to my book, go on my Facebook page. I'll probably have it posted there close to the top at all points within the next, I don't know how long that'll be. but yes, oh, thank you so much. I love you. I love you all of you joining, all of you joining in person, all of you joining from wherever you are. If you're watching this later, I want you to know that I love you and I appreciate you, and thank you so much for joining me in healing this attraction to separation. Yay, I love you. Aloha and a hui ho. Ah.